You can knit a small diameter piece of knitting, circular knitting, with 2 circular needles. To begin, cast on your stitches onto one, and then transfer half of them onto the other needle. Then slide the work to the other ends of both needles. Make sure your stitches are not twisted around. I like to line them cast on edge. I like to line the cast on edge in the middle. Line it up in the middle so I can tell it's not twisted. Now, with the working yarn on the right needle that you're not using, pick up the left needle and then the opposite end of that same needle and begin knitting with it. Do that first stitch nice and tight to join, make that join firm. Oh, this yarn is very thick for these needles. Okay, I'm using actually both the working yarn and the tail yarn for a few stitches to join in that tail yarn like I usually do. Now I'll abandon it and use just the working yarn. I use the tail yarn for a few stitches just to work it into the knitting, and then I can cut it when I'm done without having to sew it in. Okay. So now you're done with this needle. And you're going to work on the other needle. You're using both ends. I'm using both ends of the gray needle now. And work across. So you're only using one needle at a time. After a few stitches, if it helps, you can pull the other cable needle into the middle of its cable to get it out of the way. So now I'm done with this needle, and I'll pull down the other needle to its other side. Turn it around so it's in my left hand, and begin knitting with that needle. So you just alternate between the needles, working one needle at a time. And sliding to the other end of the new needle to work with it. That's it. Small diameter circular knitting on 2 circular needles. Again, make sure that first stitch is firm. And once you've worked a couple stitches, you can get the other cable needle out of the way if you like. So just keep going around and around. That's all there is to it. And by the way, for this demonstration, I was using 2 different sized circular needles. That's really not okay with this kind of knitting, because one half of the work will be one gauge and the other half will be another gauge. The needles don't alternate in the knitting, they stay on one half. So I'm just using it for demonstration purposes, but you want to use the same size needles, clearly. And that's it.